Okay guys, so back onto our last tutorial. Now, as you can see here, we create a class, but Ruby has classes built into it, and it's a very complex thing to really go into too much detail. So we'll just say we've got classes built into it. Now, 1 plus 1 is from a class fixNum called fixNum. The plus sign in this is a method, and using a little thing, we can enter a number dot class. It tells us that it's from big num, and obviously if we take away a few of those, we can tell it's from fixNum. And just see, not sure if it's going to work, hoping it does. Dot class. Yeah, so we can't find the method of it because they're searching for two different things. So hoping it would work, but knew it probably wouldn't. Now, this is useful for if we're working with a class object, like as we created before. We've got Chris. Now, if we can't remember what class it's from, we can do dot class rather than, well, it's not much of an issue here, but rather than scrolling up to the top of it. Now, there's such a thing called kernel methods. They're the methods that are built in. So, basically, how do I describe a kernel in simple terms? It's basically a piece of the computer that's before it's before Ruby. So we're not accessing directly Ruby. We're using Ruby Interactive, and in between that is the kernel that Ruby's language is actually loaded with, and it creates methods like puts. Now, I'm going to show you just something. It's going to be completely pointless in the end, but you can do kernel dot puts, and now in this I'm going to write is the same as puts. So yeah, obviously you'll never bother using this, or you'll rarely use it, but you can use it. You can see that there's a different class. It's basically it's a preloaded class that we always have, and if you go do some research on kernels, you'll actually find that computers run off a kernel and all that. Android smartphones, I believe, run off a Linux kernel, and Ruby runs off its runs off a kernel. Has a kernel built into it, and we can get all our methods. Like, it gives us access, because if we didn't have this kernel preloaded, we'd have to call it every time. Or if you go over some of my Kelly tutorials, we've got MSF Venom that we have to run all the time, whereas when we run MSF console, it actually opens up a new one. But we just need to make sure that, to be simple, we don't need kernel, but it can be a benefit to us if there are some things that we can't run by ourselves, or if we want to put our own, if we're using our own methods of a default class and all that. Sorry, this might have been a bit complicated or a bit gibberish, but anyway, I'll see you guys next time, and just remember that the kernel is actually there, and it does have some benefits, like preloading classes and methods and all that. See you guys next time.